Today in the crypto space, we see a very uneventful day. Bitcoin right around $95,000, Ethereum right around that $1,800 mark, and the rest of the crypto space. The altcoins, a mix of green and red. However, we do have some good gainers like Tau, Bonk, and a few others doing pretty good. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, and I want to focus on Bitcoin because at the end of the day, Bitcoin did dip, drag the rest of the market down with it. However, if Bitcoin gets its bounce, guys, be prepared. We could definitely start moving. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here, because we do see the total market cap still hesitating around $3 trillion. We see slightly coming down, approximately 2.3%. So it's not significant. However, we do see a bit of an increase in trading volume in the last little while as the market has been in a slump. However, guys, this could just be the reaction coming out of the weekend, of course. And today wasn't that bad. I feel like Bitcoin set a bit of a foundation, perhaps for the rest of the week, forming its bottom, potentially looking for that structure, and a pivot point structure is what we're looking for, obviously, to get a bit of a confirmation that we're going to start getting a bounce to the upside. And of course, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin to see that possibility. A lot of people are looking at CME gaps being filled. A bit of recovery here would be nice after a red weekend, which is very typical. And ultimately, guys, we did get a bit of a bearish response, but we got to see what happens here for the rest of the week. We could start seeing some green price action. Ethereum holding steady, kind of sideways. Actually, it does look a little bit better than Bitcoin, you got to admit. Ethereum's price action in the last 7 days is still looking good, 2.5% in comparison to Bitcoin, only up 0.5%. And you can see that retracement over the weekend wasn't even that strong. In fact, Ethereum took it like a champion, which is something that we're not very used to, right? Ethereum showing strength. Well, guys, maybe it's about time that we start to see Ethereum wake up. And as you keep on going down, you can see there are some projects doing okay. BNB recovery was solid, and a few others kind of going sideways. Nothing major in the last 24 hours, as you can see. Nothing really that interesting. Sui, a nice recovery there, and a few recoveries here and there. Altcoin dipping down still. A little bit of a flat price action all throughout the market, as you can see. But then you have Tau. Guys, if you missed out on my video last night, my live stream last night, we had Tau on the list. It was the second project we talked about. And I made it very clear that BitTensor Tau, number one, is not a project that I would be interested in shorting. And for exactly this reason, look at the recoveries, the strength from range-bound price action. And we did discuss the bottom of the range. We discussed the possibility of getting in from a great risk-to-reward ratio as we were hanging out at that bottom of the range. And guess what, guys? We got a nice reaction. So congrats if you were able to get on that scenario, because right now you're definitely up 7.4% from that bottom. But the bigger question is, are we flagging out ready for a continuation to the upside on BitTensor Tau, or are we preparing ourselves for a profit-taking scenario within that range? As you can see within this 1 hour structure, we are currently approaching the top of the range. So guys, be careful with this one, because it's definitely an interesting one, but up 70% in the last 30 days. Crazy gains here for BitTensor, one of the projects that has been performing well throughout this market, throughout this cycle, As we keep on going down, we can see that there are some good gainers, like I mentioned, some good recoveries. Even though Near Protocol is only up 1.3%, the reality is it has a lot of work to do still. I'm bullish. I'm building a position slowly. Ondo's another one. I'm bullish. I'm building my positions, ready to go. And as you can see, even Render, a bit of a pullback, but nice recoveries, nice support levels. And generally speaking, guys, the market is fairly sideways. Okay, so that's that sideways market for today. Tomorrow, I'm hoping that we start seeing some fat price action to the upside. And of course, let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin because, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. So let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with Bitcoin, because at the end of the day, Bitcoin, in my opinion, is the greatest leading indicator for this market. Why? Because if we see Bitcoin showing strength, it is likely that we start to see the entire market show strength. And guess what, guys? Today, we got a bit of a bounce. And let's see how far we can get with this bounce for the rest of the week. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Once in a while, guys, I like to just focus on Bitcoin because, again, especially on dry days, on days like today where nothing is really happening, we need to see, what is the possibility that Bitcoin can infuse some interest into this space. And the only way really to do that is to show a nice bounce off of range lows or even a break of structure, which would be absolutely amazing to break above previous highs and continue this move to the upside all the way to about 102K. For me, that would be a level of which I would be quite happy to start de-risking on some of my positions and just wait a little while, just to let the market resolve, just to kind of let the froth in the sentiment cool off a little bit, and then re-enter based on some data that I would get at that level. However, guys, we have to be aware that this current structure at the current moment could be a little bit finicky. Doesn't mean that I'm getting bearish, absolutely not. Doesn't mean that I'm going to get into fresh longs, absolutely not. My positions are built. My positions have been built here, and you guys have been following me, great, because you've noticed that's when I flipped a bit bullish. And the reason why I say a bit bullish is because I'm not full on. I did get bullish. I got into a few long positions. I already rotated out of a few of them. I've already re-entered on some bottom dwellers already, and I'm prepared for another leg to the upside. However, guys, I'm also psychologically and economically preparing myself for a dip, and that dip will take me to about, or take us to about, I would say 88K, and at worst case scenario, maybe a little bit lower, maybe mid 80s, 85K would be the support zone that I'm looking for. So right around this level. Now, it doesn't have to happen now. It doesn't have to happen. In fact, it doesn't even have to happen. Let's be real about that. Okay, dips, especially after an first impulsive move in a good while, could get a response to get another bullish impulsive move without a retracement. Okay, let's be clear about that. Nothing. Look what happened here, guys. Massive moves. Could happen again. Another massive move, and then we see that we're up an all-time highs in the price discovery, where real FOMO kicks in. Okay, so I'm just throwing it out there that at the end of the day, this is still possible. But guys, the way this market structure currently is resolving, especially today with this little support that we've been getting towards the tail end of this day, it's not bad of a scenario. Okay, let me stop yapping here. Let me zoom in and see what's going on. Let's pull out some oscillators. Guys, if you are interested in these custom oscillators that I'm showing you here today, I got links in the description. Synergy Signal has been doing a great job allowing me to navigate these markets. So if you want to know more, join the Discord or go check out the website. Again, links are in the description. Now, what I really want to see is evidence. I want to see evidence that the bears are coming in hot. I want to see that the bears are showing strength. And as we look at what's been happening in the last little while, and I'm quite interested in seeing what the volatility line has been showing, guys. I've been patiently waiting for the volatility line to drop. And guess what? We got the drop over the weekend. And now that we've dropped, we're very close to oversold conditions. I'm not getting into fresh longs, shorts right now. Absolutely not. Why? Because if this thing gets to its oversold condition, like it has done in the past, and continues neutralizing this volatility, this negative volatility to the downside, by creating sideways price action, what this is telling me is that this exchange of hands at this current moment is not being dominated by the bears. In fact, the bears do not have enough sell pressure in order to make a lower low. Guys, we did not make a lower low here. We did not break below these wicks, and I'll get on lower time frames in a second. So what I'm saying here is that if this volatility line gets oversold and comes down to these levels like we've done in the past, and we start to get a bullish response to the upside, guys, I'm expecting a massive move. And the reason being is because you can see this hesitation right at overbought conditions where we did not see the price get severely overbought yet, or even overbought in such a way where we get the major expansion. Major expansions happen when we break above 70. We did not get that. So guess what happened here recently is that we're coming down to pick up some more bullish bids. We're coming down to pick up and to recharge and refuel with bullishness so that when we go for another attempt to get overbought, we're going to go up with some more strength. We got some more goons in the background here, some bullish goons ready to push to higher levels. This is what I'm more interested in. So because we're almost already oversold, I'm not gonna, and especially with the reaction, I'm not worried. Okay, yes, this is still very possible. Again, the 88,000, 85,000 is still very, very possible. But I want to see the bullish response. If the bullish response comes in strong, guys, I'm expecting a higher high. And a big one because we're getting it overbought. Expect the third wave, which would be this would be the first wave. Again, I know I apologize for the messy chart, but guys, it works for me. Okay, you see this wave to the upside, these a few candles, that would be the first impulsive move. Technically speaking, based on Elliott wave theory, the third impulsive move, this would be an impulse, that would be a retracement, and the third impulsive move should be bigger than the first one, which means that we should get into a massive position to the upside here. Okay, this is what I'm expecting. Now, if it doesn't happen, I'm okay with it. Why? Because I've rotated out of my top gainers and I rotated that capital into bottom dwelling projects that are at the bottom of the range waiting for their turn, and I'm expecting them to get their turn, especially if we start to see Bitcoin show the strength on the bullish response and get overbought above the 70 on the daily time frame. Now, I do see that the trend oscillator regarding its momentum of the trend, you can see that there is a bit of a scenario. Now, I'm just going to tell you this, fake outs happen all the time. Let me get rid of some of this artwork for a second so that we can make some clarity here, make some room for some clarity. And let's just kind of put this away for a bit and we can focus on this. I know a lot of people, use trend oscillators, and in this case, we're looking at a trend oscillator, a momentum oscillator of the trend, and we can see that this is potentially a fake out or a very bearish scenario. Let me just tell you what I'm thinking here is that we can see the EMAs in an uptrend. Very clear, very, very clear. We also got, a couple of crosses to the downside in the past, right? One right here, and then eventually we went bullish, and then one right here, retracement, then we went bullish. And now potentially, now that we're in the bullish control zone above this level, the zero mark, which means that we've potentially gone into a retracement. Yes, we can have a few red histogram bars or none at all. Let's be real about that. They don't have to print any. It could be the case that this is enough. And then we open up this expansion once again, and we go for, after this retracement, start moving to the bullish, within bullish conditions again, up above this level, and make a higher high on the expansion and continue up, similar to what happened right here. Similar, as you can see, it doesn't have to last long. We go up, retrace, go up, retrace, go up, retrace, and we start expanding. And look what happened last time, guys. This is not something to play around with. If we start expanding with some aggression here at this level, it's very likely this turns into a melt up scenario, a massive move, short squeeze, melt up. Okay, so I'm not going to get overly bullish here. I know I sound super bullish, but the only reason why I'm bullish is because I have positions built with clear invalidations. If we break below 92,500, guys, we're bearish. And of course, that's the scenario. Reason being, the volume gap, the emptiness below, no support all the way up to 88K to about 95.5K. This is what we have to worry about. But as long as we're above this level, again, 92,500, guys, it's still fine. We can flag out here for a little bit and neutralize all negativity and then get going right after this is done. Okay, so patience is key. Now let's quickly get on lower time frames here to see what's going on, like on the 6 hour. The 6 hour, it obviously, guys, we've been tracking this upwards trend, this upwards channel, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, you can see that it's definitely channeling to the upside, and then it got its breakdown over the weekend. Unfortunately, we came down, swept the trend line liquidity, so that's what was achieved. However, market structure hasn't changed. Change of character has been achieved. Yes, we made a lower low, I get it, but we can get back above and move to the upside and make another higher high and continue the trend and start really squeezing to the upside. The only way I would get bearish, especially here, especially that we've been seeing the daily looking a little iffy, and perhaps because of this lower low confirmed now, is if we make a lower high confirmed. A lower high coming up here, guys, and getting rejected and falling again below these levels, start retracing down here, guys. It's done, out. This would be considered a dead cat bounce. This would confirm a change of character right here on the lower time frames. This would confirm that it's very likely that we're going to start falling again through the volume gap, 88K, 85K. So I'm kind of, giving you the play-by-play on all time frames on what you should be watching out for. And now it doesn't mean that we have to get this high. I'm telling you this, we don't have to get this high. In fact, we can continue getting rejected right around this level here. And, getting rejected right around there, even rolling right over and making that lower low is not a good look, because this would be a confirmed lower high after making a lower low, lower highs, lower lows. The trend is your friend, and we start falling faster and faster as people start hedging and basically exiting positions, anticipating a bigger dip. Okay, so this is the reality. Now, what are you going to do about it if we come down? Are you going to short? Possible. Are you going to just prepare for buy the dip? Possible. Are you going to take some profits here on a potential dead cat bounce? Possible. Everything that I just mentioned is such a valid thing to do, especially once you start getting confirmations of a reversal. I'm just going to let you know that I'm looking at lower time frames. Again, the 6 hours not that low, but the target of this dip, if it does happen, is down here. But the target for a run and a squeeze to the upside is might be magical. And I definitely don't want to miss out. At 102, I am going to reformulate my thesis based on the bearish and the bullish scenario. And I'm going to be patiently waiting for market structure and market data to come in to give me an indication of what to do next. I am not keeping all my leverage longs open forever, because again, we do get those peaks and valleys and ebb and flows in the market that I would like to ride on lower time frames. However, guys, at the end of the day, the big picture here is that Bitcoin might be looking for all-time highs in price discovery and might more healthily hesitate right around here. Okay, this is where I would appreciate a massive consolidation right around here all summer long. I would be totally fine with that. And then September, October, start waking up and get, Q4 going, and then we start really moving. This is possible, right? A quick exchange of hands at all-time highs where people are worried of not getting above the previous high and double topping like we did in the previous cycle, and so on and so forth. So at this current moment, I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball to tell you the future, but I can tell you this: I'm not exiting long positions until we break structure, and I am not getting into new fresh longs, especially with leverage. Spot, I'll buy dips here and there, not a problem, because all I have to do is hold, and I'm bullish big picture. But ultimately, leverage right now, just be very, very careful unless you're trading the lower time frames. Okay, so that's that. Let's take a look at oscillators real quick and see what's going on with the trend and momentum. You can see that, we are potentially coming down to the oversold state on the 6 hour. We got our beautiful expansion, and it's possible. So what I really want to see is what the bullish response does. The orange line, get it back up here. Let's see how we go. If we make a higher high, okay, we dodged the bullet. In fact, we made a higher high. Maybe we start squeezing to the upside. Maybe we hold on in the chop zone and get overbought again. In bullish conditions, this happens a lot more often, where we get support on the chop zone and then get overbought again. And this could happen. Now, ideally, this is, not ideally, but the scenario is that sometimes, look at this, guys, sometimes we don't even get a full reset. We didn't really get a full reset in oversold conditions here, and it might happen again where we're making higher lows, right, and higher highs and moving to the upside, and maybe one more move to the upside is what we're looking for. However, guys, if I'm going to get fresh longs, I'm waiting for this purple line to get oversold. If I'm going and using leverage, I want it oversold, and that's my rule. Or else it's just spot, and spot will give me the exposure I need to make great gains anyway. But if I'm going to get into leverage, I need to get oversold on the 6 hours. So it's not there, so forget that. And you can see right now, even on the trend oscillator, EMAs are facing down. We got a couple of drives of bearish divergence on the 6 hour, and on the 4 hour, we're seeing a little bit of the same thing, unfortunately. A little bit of that, a little bit of momentum shifting to oversold conditions. We got our expansion coming in. We can see that EMAs facing down on the 4 hour. There's a lot of data suggesting lower time frames that we could come down, but because the daily is still okay, and in fact still bullish, guys, we can invalidate all of this and again get our support and start moving to the upside very, very soon. This is why I am not getting into fresh longs, because the lower time frames are still looking a little weak, but the daily still looking good. Like I said, guys, looking good, which means that we could definitely start continuing to the upside where people least expect it, and that's where the short squeeze momentum begins. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, see you tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.